Just like that, Yanni was the Inquisitor and I was a suspect. A poet once wrote that there is nothing worse than self-righteousness. Now I understood what she meant. I have no idea who said that. I knew Nanagede would scold me for doing something rash, but I was running out of time. I decided to make use of the greenhouse's access to the waters to try an improvised ritual. Oh good, this isn't going to go well. My goal was to counteract the damage done by the saboteur, and the plant I saved from the frost earlier was going to help. Oh god! So, we took the Smites' route, right? Thug life, etc. But it turns out that it's gonna kind of be to bite us in the arse. Because he doesn't like Yanni, and he has a poisonous death plant in his inventory. Great. The ritual was going surprisingly well. I work fast under pressure, unless I'm interrupted, that is. Cassia, what are you like? It's gonna be Cassia, isn't it? You'd think. I mean, who else is it gonna be if it's not Cassia? Istvan? It could be Istvan? Almost there, and... No. I need you to be a good potion and do exactly as I It's science. I hate to break it to you, Galen. It probably can't hear you. Spirits, I can't even tell if it's working. The door was open. What did I say? Shit, you startled me. I didn't hear you knocking. It's because he didn't knock. Sorry, I didn't knock, see? He likes to be, you know, up front with his shit. I know Yanni interrogated you. Gossip sure flies around here. Is that why you came? I wanted to check up on you now that you've officially been labelled a suspect. I swear everyone's suddenly so keen on making me the next victim of this collective insanity, so you're not here to arrest me. He's gonna fucking put you in handcuffs, is what he's gonna do. That's a sex joke. Of course not! Although whatever it is you're doing right now is pretty suspicious. It really is. It is! If you must know, I was planning to do something completely crazy. A ritual with no preparation, no support, and no guidance. One that isn't even in the books. Space isn't... What? Space wasn't working, hang on. We went to this one, didn't we? Nope. We can't scroll back further than that. I think this is where it was at. It's fine. Trying to kill yourself to save the day? It looks like it may be the only thing I can do before some overzealous sycophant scapegoats me in front of an angry mob. Galen, nobody hates you and they don't need it to blame anyone. The only person who needs a scapegoat is Istvan. Ha! And how does that make my situation better? Yeah, that was my next question. Maybe it doesn't, but remember, I care about you and I don't want to do anything reckless. Sacrificing yourself won't change anything. It'll only make our chances of saving the city even slimmer. I know. But I'm not planning to kill myself just yet. I mean, the fact that you had to specify yet is a bad thing, Galen. You should say, I'm not planning to kill myself. Not yet. I mean, we'll see where this goes. You know, if push comes to shove, I might. Like, that's bad. I don't like that spark in your eyes. No worries, I always scored perfect marks for improv. Stories about my makeshift spells are still circulating the campus. Are you sure this is the same thing? I appreciate your concern, but this isn't the best moment for emotional outbursts. I mean, if we're gonna go on about people making emotional outbursts, Galen, I can't believe you're asking me to restrain my emotions. Why is that such a bad thing to ask? For your sake, friend, thanks to Yanni, my time may almost be up. This ritual will either help or do nothing, but I can't allow myself to be distracted. And he called him friend, that's harsh. I understand. Sure you do. Truth be told, I find this savior complex of yours charming. You never know where you stand with Galen. It's weird. He should stop doing that, and I just love your subtlety, but say no more. It was bad timing on my part. Carry on. Now that's settled, let's go to work. For this number, I'll be needing a volunteer from the audience. What now? You're going to help me with my insanely risky and possibly suicidal ritual. Seriously, Galen, at this point, I can't tell whether you're messing with me. Relax, it's perfectly safe. I bet you tell that to every guy, and then they end up with a nasty rash. You hated me 5 seconds ago. We were blunt now. Whatever. Ha, touche, sir. Frankly, all I need you to do is stand by the door and make sure nobody disturbs me. I was hoping for chanting. I have a lovely singing voice. Well, you can prove that once we're out of here. Oh well, destiny's caught up with me again. Once a guard, always a guard. It helps more than you know. I hate doing this kind of thing alone. Talking actually helps me focus. Yeah, you're just talking to yourself, Galen. It's not quite the same thing. But your enthusiasm truly is heartwarming. Thanks, Cassia. The way I see it, we're teetering on the edge of a disaster. I never said it before, but I believe you can make a difference, so of course I want to help. Very mushy. I appreciate it. Now let me get back to this wayward potion. If you prefer to talk as you work, you can explain the ritual to me. Don't blame me if you get bored. Alright, in order to affect the city system, I need direct contact with the waters. Luckily, the designers were a thoughtful lot and placed access points all over. I don't get why games do this. Okay, look, let's just roll back a quick second. Explain it to me, game. Oh, well, I mean, it's boring. Here's the explanation. I am gonna have a hard time paying attention to something if it's already been set up as, yeah, it's quite boring. You know what I mean? This is quite boring. Let me tell you about it in great detail. Including this very greenhouse, hardly a control room, but I can work my craft from here. There's a magical access point right inside the quarters of our good doctor, who also happens to be a magician. Convenient indeed. So what's next? The potion I'll be using now is extract of sweet anise. Sounds like something old ladies have with their tea and biscuits. They wouldn't fucking need any tea and biscuits if they took this shit. Old ladies, or old men for that matter, shouldn't come anywhere near it. This plant is highly toxic and used as a key ingredient to some of the most effective poisons known to my people. It's a killing potion then. What exactly are you going to do with it? Pour it into the water system, of course. If that's another joke, then it's really... Fear not, I know exactly what I'm doing. It'll be completely safe for everybody except the saboteur. This doesn't sound right at all. I don't know how to tell you this, Galen, but I am not on board for this plan at all. I know you got magic and all, but this sounds far-fetched. You're telling me I won't die the next time I take a sip or wash my hands? How? Well, even if you do, you won't know until your eyes are closed. And by then it'll be too late. I'll ask it nicely. Oh, right, okay, the plant. I'll ask it nicely not to harm anyone save those who perform pernicious rituals. Oh, that's gonna be like half the city, for fuck's sake. Then I really hope you're as good as you think, for your sake and mine. You worry too much, I'm just using a few drops, so even if I fail, they'll dissolve in my trowel. I also have plenty of antidote ready should anything go awry. Do what you must. Oh, I can't believe you're going along with this, Cassia. Alright, this may feel a bit strange to you. A bit that you're poisoning our water supply. What? I don't feel any... Oh, for hell's sake. Spirits, these waters are brimming with curses. I swear it's like stabbing a stingray with a blunt harpoon. Alright, I'm almost done. Try not to vomit. I'll do my best. And we're done. He doesn't... He's had better days. The process was more violent than I expected. You did well, considering it was your first time. I never knew magic was so bad for the stomach. Did it work? Honestly, I have no idea. All I can discern right now is that I've managed to do something. Well, yeah, but Level's the one fucking doing random rituals and shit. Like, it could very easily just be him, couldn't it? Like, he could just kill us all. Straight up. Wait, no, that's not what I meant to say. We could have killed Lev if he was alive because he was the one performing rituals. We also know that Yokone also does some tribal stuff. You know what I mean? And Constance has her secrets. We could be killing so many people just because they once performed a ritual. But nothing is happening. Which is a very good sign. Rituals are a bit like surgery. If the job's botched, you could tell right away because either the patient or the doctor starts bleeding uncontrollably. Yes, or they have 4 ears and 2 fingers. I had no idea herbalists could be so dangerous. This is much more than simple herbalism, but you're right. We are not to be trifled with. not to be trifled with. What are you, a member of the aristocracy? Yanni would agree, I'm sure. She's prejudiced and mistrusts anything she can't put into numbers, which makes me wonder, why do you trust me? I don't trust anyone completely, but I've put my penis in you, so you can't be... Oh, that's not what it says. It says, but I'm almost sure you're not the saboteur. Almost. Everyone's so distrustful, even when they've already said that, yeah, I trust you. Of course I'm not. The way I see it, there's only one person who benefits from this mess, Istvan, the iron tyrant ruling through fear and intrigue. A bold statement. It's hard to imagine any rational reason for him destroying the fruit of his labour. On the other hand, he's hardly the same cold, calculating man he used to be. Even Slava admits stargazing is now much more than a pastime for him. You think he's going crazy? Think? Ha! You're inquisitive today. No, I've got nothing to lose. That is true. That's not true, Galen. It is true. Man, he just put poison into, like, fucking the water supply. What would... If we took the good herb, what would that have meant? Would that have just cured the waters from curses? I've always accidentally taken a dark path here. But alright, if you must know, I do think Istvan is a major suspect. Him and one other person. I've suspected Istvan for a while now. I even prepared something special to investigate his curious love for astronomy. Really? Well, whatever it was, I hope you're careful. He's not keen on being spied on. No worries. So who's number 2? Someone with a really good motive. Constance? Well done, detective. You can laugh, but assuming every villain has a motive is an error of judgment. Istvan may not have one at all. Or maybe he does and is utterly irrational. Insane, even. I got that. That would mean the other suspect is someone with a rational goal? Hardly. A crime of passion is also a possibility, but unlike madness, being driven by emotion is something we can understand, and, who knows, maybe even empathize with. It better not be what I'm thinking it is. Don't do it, Cassia. Spirits, you're sucking like a hungry shark. Just tell me who you think it is. I really can't point at anyone with so little information, but my guts tell me it's driven by both reason and passion. In other words, the saboteur wants revenge. I can't believe you don't have a prime suspect. You've spent so much more time with these people than I have. I wonder if he's trying to inadvertently say it was himself. That's a thing I'm wondering whether he's doing. That's exactly why I can't pick all of them. Any of them. They all have a motive, Galen. You're telling me they're all potentially mass murderers? Potentially. This is a city of broken lives. Some wish to be liberated from it, others revel in being prisoned. There's freedom in not being able to decide for ourselves, a dependency that feels a lot like liberation. I can see you're speaking from the heart. You read me well, as usual. But you know what, Captain? Despite being a newcomer, I can already empathise with that sentiment. You're right, and my sentiment wasn't accurate. It's not true that they all have a motive. We all have one. Especially the woman. What do you mean? This isn't the opinion of a seasoned investigator, only someone who's been living here for a while, so please take it with a grain of salt. There's a chance you haven't noticed since you came in the dead season, but this place is run by men, usually old men. Families are governed by fathers and grandfathers. All women, even those born into money and power, will sooner or later become tools. Wait, so you think this whole sabotage is a plot organised by an ambitious family woman? Not at all. Women from the families may lack power, but they still enjoy being on top of the food chain. If they plot and scheme, which I'm sure they do, it's to take control of the city, not to destroy it. Compared to us, they're free as birds. They don't have compacts. Think about it. Whoever wants to see this place razed to the ground, killing everyone inside and being killed in the process, must be truly desperate. It's someone who feels so abused, so hurt, that they want to sacrifice their own life so no one will suffer like they did. Even though he said it's a woman, Cassia's given off some weird vibes. It wouldn't be a personal vendetta anymore, it would be an act of charity. Precisely. I can see you really thought this through. I was under the impression that you hate speculation and wild theories. Living here can be difficult if I can't change the way things work. All I have left is trying to understand it. I'm only telling you this because I trust you'll understand. I do. I can't say I enjoy the picture you just described, but thanks for trusting me. I hope I don't regret it when Yanni presents her evidence. You said you didn't suspect me of being the saboteur. I don't, but Lev's murder is altogether a different matter. I'll see you tonight. Goodbye, Galen, and good luck. Oh boy. So, that's a lot of new information. I rushed towards the marketplace, partially because I wanted to avoid any unnecessary unrest, but mostly to get it over with. I had no definite proof, yet I had to point to someone, fully aware that this meant sentencing them to a very unpleasant fate. Except perhaps for Istvan. Money and contacts would ensure his safety in prison and possibly a decent level of comfort. Even if he hadn't killed Lev, he had enough on his conscience to justify conviction. But my life would take a sharp turn for the worse if I challenged the most powerful man in town. My remaining choices weren't much better. Putting Galen in prison would rid myself of an annoying yet valuable ally. While the city's system is a technical wonder, I would be a fool to deny the importance of the waters. Murderer or not, Galen was the one who understood their flow, aside from the saboteur. The only reasonable choice, the one that took both the mission and self-preservation into account, was sentencing Sem. He would make a fine scapegoat and no one would be the wiser. Reason had me step away from blaming an innocent man and letting a killer walk free. Reason and hopefully. So, I'm wondering whether I should leave it up to you guys as to who we end up voting for, which is a way of chickening out who to vote for myself. So if I ask you guys, would you answer honestly, or would I just get a whole bunch of responses which says, hey, you pick who you want to pick? Because I totally see it being something like that. The thing is, right, is there are several candidates. Ah, shit, we're here. Can we start already? Yeah. Sem is a scapegoat, but Sem obviously didn't fucking do it. This one probably did it, but I mean, we're probably killing ourselves quicker than we're killing him by doing that. Galen didn't do it. Let me start already. Agreed. For once, this is starting to feel like a fair show. Finding the culprit is not an easy task, so please bear with me. I'll be as brief as I can. I asked the three of you here, as you were the last people to see Lev alive. What do you mean? I know for a fact Istvan spent that night in his study like he usually does. Istvan gave orders to have Lev beaten up. His guards acted on his behalf, meaning he had indirect contact. As for Galen and Sem, they both saw the victim in person. Someone also tried to set up a trap for Galen and me using Istvan's stationery. It seemed too obvious, but perhaps it was a double bluff. Probably. True, leaving a piece of evidence with your name on it does seem a tad amateurish, but it's also possible someone was expecting us to die and never tell the tale. I wouldn't play around with letters and traps. Perhaps you have a motive, however. It's no secret you resented both this city and Slava's late husband. Resentment is something I know a lot about. I'm beginning to feel it now. Not only did Lev trespass onto family property, but he also made Slava unhappy. But we all know that you care about her. I can't wait to hear my dirty secrets. Just let her finish. There's one more thing that incriminates Istvan, Lev's journal. You got your hands on it? He kept it with him at all times, but I can find it on his body. Yes, we found it. Galen didn't tell you everything, or anything apparently. Slava found it, but that's not important now. What is important that Lev mentions a mentor, someone he refers to as I. This person taught him magic and many of the city's secrets, including the location of the hidden chamber he was found in. Lev was probably used by the saboteur to further their destructive agenda. You think it was Istvan? He's the only one whose name starts with an I. Yeah, but, I mean, as we've already established, dude was crazy. I doesn't necessarily mean anything important. Is this what the city is paying you? Rumours and vague suspicions? Well, it's you who insisted on solving the case in such a short time frame. I'm doing what I can. You were also the only person with constant access to the archives where all the plans were kept, plans that are now missing. That being said, the person who killed Lev covered their tracks well. It could have been anyone. That's why I'm reviewing all the evidence. Which brings us to Galen, the good doctor everyone trusts. I'm blushing already. I don't think he is at all. I think that was a lie, Smiders. It's not an exaggeration to say that when you give advice, people follow it to the letter. They answer all your questions without examining your motives. What can I say? I'm a people person. Unless being a doctor is a crime, you should focus on the real dirt. Do you have any? What do you think of a killer? When you think of a killer, you usually imagine someone wielding a weapon. However, a doctor knows more ways to disrupt and shut down the body than any warrior could. As a herbalist? As an herbalist? Is that supposed to be herbalist? I wonder. Galen had both the knowledge of and the resources necessary to produce poisons, and did. Finally, his profession gives him the perfect cover. Nobody would normally suspect a doctor was harming others intentionally. You may be wrong. I can feel my killer urges building up as we speak. No matter how many jokes you throw at her, Yanni does have a point. What she doesn't have, however, is proof. We don't have proof, alright? This is speculation. This is Speculation Central. We will rename this place Speculation Square after we've done with it. Well, speculation is fine by me. Just get this over with. Sure, who said needs to win? As for Sem, we know he allowed his dogs to bite Lev that night. Does anyone here doubt that he's in full control of his pack? Not only did he cause injuries, but he saw Lev in very bad shape, contributed to it, and left his friend with no help whatsoever. Clearly you've taken it upon yourself to smear the most respectable people in the city, the doctor, the banker, and the animal-loving man whose inner peace borders on Catonia. Catatonia. Right, Sem? Yeah, he doesn't agree. Sem may seem harmless, but he does have a gruesome past. This is why I don't trust people. I'm not going into details, but we know for a fact that Sem is capable of murder and betrayal. Fucking hell! What? You can't say that! Well, I won't delve into what it was he was gonna say, but God, he murdered so many people. Brutally. People had to close there were children there and everything. He made them watch. You know what I mean? This is quite dramatic and much more entertaining than I'd expected. Now, please, reveal the winner before the suspense kills us. Unless you have more observations you'd like to share? Spirits, no more stories. Who did it? It's impossible to be sure, given the circumstances, but all you want is a verdict, so here it is. Right then, 22 minutes into the part, I will let you guys decide who we want to smite and sentence. Is it going to be Istvan? The one I feel you choose? Galen, the one who probably didn't do it. Sem, the one we probably aware we're scapegoating him away. I'll let you guys decide, and I'll see you next part. In the comments below. That's where you have to vote, obviously. So that's a thumbs up. Okay, look, just go and vote. All right, next part.